And I think that sort of connects to how the diaspora can really help Nepal, right? Theo is an incredible example. One thing that I'd love for you to talk about before we wrap up is, helping Nepal to Sandesa, right? And that's what all of us want to do. How can we help our Nepali diaspora that's, away from Nepal and trying to do something?
I think mentorship is so important. We really don't think much of it, but I think, mentoring people. And one of the things I did at Cornell was, graduate, master's students are like, I would just train them on how to interview for a job. Right? Like, what are the questions you want to anticipate, and how do you prepare for that? And I think, especially Aileko younger generation, and please don't quote me on this, but I think what is really lacking is the communication skills, right? Because we're so into our phones. When we were growing up, we had no phones. Like, we had to talk to people. Like, we had to get things done, right? So everything is done via some other medium. So I feel like there are certain skills that I think, I'm not saying like, I'm not an expert in any of this, but I think one of the things that we, as sort of people who've been here longer, been in the job landscape and career, and been a career professional for a long time, I think one of the things that we can sort of depart from us is the knowledge of like, hey, this is how we did it, right? Like,
these are the pitfalls.
These are the pitfalls. This is what you can expect. This is how you sort of navigate, these job interviews, or like if you want to go from master's education directly from undergrad, like how do you do that? So I think I have sort of mentored some of the folks from Cornell, and even some of the Nepali people. I would also love for people to kind of reach out to me and ask me like, okay, we're putting a grant application together. What are the aspects that we need to think about? I think we don't think about that enough. And like one of the things that I was talking to somebody in Karkana a few months ago, and I was telling them like, if you put a grant together, build in a impact analysis. Like, timle yo gaउँमा गएर कतिजना बच्चालाई कसरी सिकाउँछ त्यो कुरा. So like really thinking about हाम्रो professional point of view, how can we help other people sort of think about things, I think would be very...
Rupa, I think there's such a need for it, like in in terms of there's so many Nepali or Nepali American nonprofits that sort of need that education. I do want to host a separate session, like in terms of where you can share your expertise and guide these. That आजको podcastको लागि चाहिँ we're sort of towards the end of it. Is there something that your sort of last words or advice for our diaspora and our audience?
I think, one of the things that I really want to commend you on is how you've sort of brought all of us together, right? It's so incredible. And, I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, how does she do it? It's so much work, like all these events that she's doing. So I think what you're doing is really incredible, and I really commend you for that. And I also think, one last parting thought is that don't be scared to ask for help. Like, we Nepali hoस् अथवा अरूलाई होस्, I really want people to understand this, because my job is to ask people for money. And I go in thinking the worst they can say is no, so let's just go ask one another. So like, you ask for help. Like, there was एकजना भाइ थियो सानो यहाँ मेरो घर अगाडि एकजना दिदीको पसल छ, उसको छोरा is like I posted somebody, and then you connected to somebody for internship opportunity. I said, look, you won't get an internship in your first year of college, but at least you'll get an experience and exposure to what this process is like, right? So मैले भने जस्तो यो network, resources and connections भन्छ नि, that's what we are, and I really want people to use us for that and not be scared to ask for help, because if you don't ask for help, you're just ruminating, just miserable by yourself. So doing together, I think like I really want people to understand that we're all here for you all. Like, if I need help on something, I want to reach out to somebody. Like, I want, if I'm pestering somebody, I will pester the shit out, get help, right? So that's one thing I want people to take away from this conversation, is that like, look, like, please reach out, like, please, we'll help one another.